All right, so it's been a journey trying to get my first ever payout with prop firms. And to be honest with you, I've been trading a little while and it's hard. It's very hard. And as many of you know who are on this journey of trading props with me as well, you know that it is pretty damn hard to get your first payout as well. So in this series, I document what it actually looks like trying to get your first ever payout with prop firms, and more importantly, trying to make an income from trading, because it's not as easy as everybody on YouTube makes it seem. So the structure of these videos are very, very simple. Every Sunday, I'll be doing one of these, and I'll be going over my prop firm expense updates, if there is any, my eval progress on the week, and basically my observations that I made from my trading from the prior week. So let's go ahead and get started with the prop firm expenses for the current year. Let me go ahead and say this. As a beginner YouTuber, it's very hard to kind of know what works and what doesn't, especially when you don't have any feedback. Like, I don't know what type of content that you guys want to see more of or don't want to see more of. So comments is very helpful. If you could just leave a comment just giving me a little bit of feedback so I can kind of optimize for next week's video, I would greatly appreciate that, because that would save me a lot of time. All right, so currently we're down $222 when it comes to the overall expense of prop firms for the year, which isn't that bad. If I keep this at the same rate, I'll be probably down either 12 or 2,400 by the end of the year, which, so long as this pass rate goes up and, you know, my funded to payout ratio goes up, I should see a little bit of a, you know, more positive total revenue part. However, currently we spend about $157 on evals and then $65 on activation fees. Out of the last 8 evals, we've passed one. We spent $123 on evals last month and then 98 evals this month, but we only bought 3 evals last month and 5 evals this month. So things have changed a little bit. We passed one eval last month, giving us a 33% pass rate, but this month we have yet to pass one. Currently, we still have like 2 evals that are in progress, and one of them I'm going to give you an update on the progress right now, matter of fact. But one of them we're pretty close to getting funded with it, and then the other one we have not started trading with it. Now, you see that we bought these evals on February 2nd, so our rebuild date is going to be March 3rd. Second to last video, we talked about pass rate. Our pass rate's 16.7% right now. I think last time it was 12. My goal really is with Bookmap. I don't know if you guys have seen the last video, but I implemented Bookmap recently. My goal is to use Bookmap to give me some more details about my strategy to maybe kind of bump up that pass rate. And the observations part of this video is going to go over a lot of the key insights I made while trading Bookmap this. So stay tuned for that part. But let's talk about the eval progress. So, oh yeah, 90% off Apex right now. Hopefully later on in the future you can use code ShaneGap. Anyway, we have 3 evals. This one I already canceled. As you can see, we've pretty much failed that one. I don't really remember what happened. I think this was like it was before last week, and the markets was just really shitty. And it just got to a point where I was kind of going off track, and this is where I kind of had to implement my patient rule all over again. But since then, since I've, you know, kind of came back on track, implement my patient rule, look for my setups, we're currently up 1,300 on this eval, this eval, or eval 16 currently. Sorry. We're currently up 1,300 on the 4th eval that I purchased for this month. And we have 4 trading days, which is good. Our trailing stops at 48, and we're at 51. Let's just call it 51,400. So we're almost to our target. The 50 eval I purchased for this month, I have not traded yet, and I need to go ahead and trade that because we're gonna get rebuilt on March 3rd. So literally, this is the last week of trading. So my plan is I'm going to copy trade both of them. I'm gonna copy trade both of them this week and just kind of see what happens from there. I don't plan to go into the rebuild cycle for any of these. But on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it looks like it's going to end, probably tomorrow we'll pick up 5 more 50K evals as well. And then we'll kind of take it from there. Now, let's go ahead and get into the observations. Sorry, I was just dude, it's crazy when you look back in life and you see, like, I don't know, I was just looking at some film that I was recording at like in 2024, which is like 2 years from now, or 1.5 years when I first started futures. Funny thing is, the day that I started trading futures was the day that I actually started drinking my coffee black. Now I'm not a criminal, okay? I do have some sugar in it, but just it was straight black, no cream or anything like that. Bro, drinking black coffee like you 40 or something. Is everything okay? Yo, so I just took my first sip, right? I'm over here, you know what I'm saying, analyzing the crime scene. And boy, that ain't looking good, looking like double homicide. And this was the first day where I tried it with no sugar, and I instantly realized I'm not built for that. So I decided to get some sugar in my coffee. But it's crazy, man, how time flies. But let's jump back into it, okay? Let's go over the observations from last week. So I really want to kind of go over essentially the 17th. The 17th was the trading day that I had. First day that I observed Bookmap, and it was pretty much the only day where I had to really just kind of observe what was going on in the markets. Sorry, sometimes I just be saying shit without even really thinking about what I'm saying. What I meant to say was this was the first day where I got to review the film on Bookmap because I did not use it in the live trading session at all. I tried not to use it, but then literally the first trade that I take, I used it and instantaneously got evaporated for 40 points against me. So I had to learn, of course, I'm a hard head. Every lesson I have to learn has to be through experience. But at this point, you know, they have a saying where like a hard head makes a soft ass. At this point, I've been getting hit on my ass so many times. I'm pretty sure that it's already callousized, if that's a word, or it has grown calluses on it because, dude, all the lessons that I learned is straight through experience. But let me stop getting off track here. Let's go ahead and look into the recording because I really want to go over this first insight that I had made. Okay, so the first observation I kind of want to make is when I was looking at Bookmap, I think like one of the most important things is that I instantly realized that there on Bookmap there are levels where orders are laying, and then there's levels where more orders are laying than others. And on Bookmap, they are like color coded in a heat map in a sense. And the levels that are red, I call now raging levels. I tend to see that market tends to kind of draw on them a little bit. Kind of like how ICT traders use the concept draw on liquidity, but this one I can actually kind of see what's going on in detail objectively here. So that was the first little insight that I made, and I'll show you an example here. So let's look at this level right here at it looks like it's at 716. Ish. So red level, which means there are some orders chilling there. Red level, some orders chilling there. We basically are making the bet that sooner than later, price is going to come up and attack these levels and kind of fill them out. And after a while, right, because it doesn't happen immediately as it see it, but I just know that it kind of does attract to these levels quite frequently from what I've seen on this day's film. Now, what the observation that I made from this was that breakouts that have momentum, right, or that have one of these raging levels kind of above it or at that level of breakout is breakouts that I should be interested in because they are one more, I would say, inclined to want to break out from the key level or a minor level in a sense. And then two, when we do get this fill, it usually is followed by a little burst of movement, like a stop run type of fill, or just it has enough momentum to give me the points that I need from it. So raising levels is now something that I am looking for in pretty much all my breakouts. So that's the key thing. The another thing is I wrote it here in 15 minutes into the film is I finally understand volume profile a little bit more. So in volume profile right here, you see that there's a high volume node here, high volume node here, high volume node here, but there's a valley right here. And in my notes, I said valleys will tend to run through fairly quickly. So here's a neat little setup. I don't know if you could see it because it might not focus. Let me put it this way. I hope that kind of focuses, but you could kind of see the setup a little bit. Essentially, fuck it. Let me just get closer. Hope this kind of focuses. There we go. So essentially, right here is basically, let's say it's consolidation. This consolidation then causes the high volume node right here. And basically on the high volume node, there's a little bit of a end, right? So there's like the ends of the high volume node. So the high volume node high, the high volume node low. Basically where like if I go on the chart, like right here would be pretty much the end of the high volume node, and then here would be like the end of this high volume node, and like this you would kind of see as like the break of this high resistance area, and now we start traveling into new areas. So what I wrote down was these little valleys right here that I kind of have drawn here. This valley here, price will tend to move fairly quick through. So a setup idea could be something like, say we break through this high volume, we break this high volume node low, and we start to travel into a low volume area like this, we could kind of expect price to kind of run through this area fairly quickly. And if it's going to run through this area fairly quickly, then I should probably take a short position here. Stops back into this high volume node, of course, but that's my 20 point like normal. Short position here, and just like if there's raging levels, that's an extra confirmation or confluence, and just kind of let this ride. And I kind of want to like let this play out to show you guys what I'm talking about, because look how smoothly price just kind of flows like through this level. Like it just moves very smoothly, and you see there's raging levels now at the 710s that just kind of just almost magnets towards, and now it just fills and just moves through this area really quickly until the next high volume node. It literally moved through this area in one 1 minute candle. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe like I know that the bets that I'm making on breakout with delta is like basically for NQ. I want to see us get to like the 300, 400 mark on delta, like get that lopsided on the delta. And basically I'm making a bet, like if I see this candle and I'm buying in, investing in early, where it's like at maybe -40 delta and maybe -50 delta, or maybe -100 delta, I'm making the bet that it's going to go to 300. I basically want things to be in my favor, such as like, okay, cool, we're traveling through a low volume node area. This delta can start to snowball into bigger and bigger. Or there's like a raging level lower that I'm particularly interested in as well too. So that was the second observation I made. Another like key observations that I had made as well. This is more of an personal observation for my trading. It won't really apply to anyone that watches this video. So I'm gonna keep this one to myself because I don't think it does that much value giving it to someone. But I'll tell you this piece of advice, like look in your trading and have all of the indicators in a way kind of serve you. You don't need to know the theory behind every single thing that you trade, but you do need to know the application of whatever you're trading, right? So make sure like everything that is on your chart is telling you a story that is meaningful to you, and it isn't just on your chart for like random shit, man. That's the piece of advice I'll give, because the ATR and SOT, or speed of tape, is something that people will see like on this screen recording. You'll see and like, what is that doing there? Well, it's serving a purpose for me. The last thing that I want to show is, I guess I want to show, I kind of don't want to show this. I kind of want to hold off on this last observation because I want to see how it plays out this week. So I'm going to save this last observation for next week's video. So future Omar, come back to this video next week and see how the last observation worked out. If future Omar, you should know what I'm talking about. It's 2:17, 19 minutes written in this red notebook. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's, let me go ahead and say this. As a beginner YouTuber, it's very hard to kind of know what works and what doesn't, especially when you don't have any feedback. Like I don't know what type of content that you guys want to see more of or don't want to see more of. So comments is very helpful, especially if you made it to the end of this video. If you could just leave a comment just giving me a little bit of feedback so I can kind of optimize for next week's video, I would greatly appreciate that, because that would save me a lot of time. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. You know my motto, be a problem solver, and see you guys next time. Until the last time. Yo, my back is killing me, dude. Oh my God, dude. Don't get old, man.